What up, everybody? It's your girl Chantel. It is day 10 on Exhibition Online, and your girl is still in the game, period. Okay? Oh my god. Today was great. It was so great. So basically, we went to the challenge. Well, before we went to the challenge, we were at camp, and there was a room for an advantage. And guess who got in the room for the advantage? Hey, your girl Chantel. So there was 3 people that got this advantage. It was Justin, it was Gideon, and it was myself. So we went to the challenge. What we had to do was stack 6 cups on the end of a table and stand 8 feet away and throw 3 ping pong balls at them. We had to knock that down. That was the first part of the challenge. And the second part was to have a book or something hard and stack 6 cups on top of each other and hold it for 3 seconds, and whoever got it first would win exception. So when we went into the challenge, we were told that our advantage was to pick who we wanted to play against. So Justin picked who did he pick again? Hold on, I forgot. Justin picked I forget. I'm having a brain fart, guys. Like, I'm so sorry. Okay, Gideon chose Maddie. I chose Daniel. Jared faced Ryan, which means that Justin faced... Oh my god, I'm really, really bad with names. Oh my god. Who was it? Oh, okay, Justin faced Rob. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. So, Rob beat Justin. Gideon beat Maddie, and Gideon stole my choice because I wanted to go against Maddie because girl on girl. I feel like I can't beat these guys, man. There's too many guys in here. It's so annoying. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. Yeah, Gideon beat Maddie, and then Daniel beat me. So it literally, my advantage like went nowhere. Yeah, and then they went on to the second part of the challenge, and Team Original Ethan won it. Gideon got exemption, period. Yes. I'm like, if anybody like needs exemption, it's Gideon right now, because I need him in the game. Like, I need him. Like, he was my day one, and we've managed to like be separate, and I hope to God that they don't notice it. Like, I hope to God. Like, I still want to be my own free agent out here. Yeah, so he won exemption. Then we went back to camp, and oh, it was chaos. People were telling me that it was going to be Ryan, then it's going to be Justin. I got in a room with Maddie. Maddie told me that Ryan said, oh, you got he said that he got a compass, but I don't believe him, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, so that is a deciding factor, whether or not, like, we're gonna get Ryan out or not. Obviously, Chantal's not down for Ryan, because Ryan's original team Ethan, and there's only 3 of us, me, Gideon, and Ryan. So I need Ryan in this game for my game. Yeah. yeah, and then I had a conversation with Justin, and Justin was like, last minute, oh, I think we should go for Jared. And I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yes, I was so excited. I'm like, this is my opportunity, because I literally, like, I tried to ask Daniel, I tried to ask Maddie, and I tried to ask Rob, and they were so set on getting rid of one of my numbers. Nope, nope, nope. My numbers cannot go anywhere, because the minute that my number is gone, I cannot get forward in the game. Like, I don't want to be the only Ethan left. Point blank, period. Like, we just can't do it. Like, I know we showed our cards today, but as soon as Justin came with me with that idea, it was me, Gideon, Ryan, Justin, we all pulled together and we got Jared, while they were thinking we were going to vote Ryan or Justin, because that's what the talks were. I had a talk with Jared. I asked him, oh, but like, how do you know Justin doesn't have an idol and blah 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 blah? And then he's like, okay, well then we can do Ryan. Like, I was leaning more towards Ryan, like, you know, Ryan. Like, I think that he's a strong competitor, and like, yeah, we gotta get him out. And I'm just so listening to him like, okay, I was literally trying to pitch Justin to him, but he was just not listening. He's like, honestly, I feel like Justin can literally tell me everything. Like, he doesn't want to keep his mouth shut and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. So I let him think that we were voting at Ryan, and then literally I let Maddie think that we're voting out Ryan. I left Daniel thinking we're voting out Ryan. I left Rob thinking that we're voting out Ryan. Yeah, we go to Crossroads, and I was having heart palpitations, guys. Like, my heart was beating so fast. I didn't want docs to like question me at all, because like, oh, like, I just didn't even want to talk until the votes were read, to be very honest with you. Yeah, we got to the votes, and there was 1 vote for Ryan, 2 votes for Justin, and 4 votes for Jared. Okay, Jared was shook. Let me tell you, that guy was blindsided. And I've been telling everyone at camp, yo, this guy, I even made that call. I mean, even told them I put Jared down as fake. And Jared asked me, like, who are people calling me fake? Blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I think you're fake. I think you lie to people so that you could get your way and sit here and twiddle your hair and curl it up. Like, no. From the moment that he gave me deals that didn't make any sense to me or didn't benefit me at all, I'm like, I can't trust you. When I kept him over Jennifer, he came back to me and was like, oh, like, I'm so appreciative that you kept me and blah, 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 blah. And for that, I'm going to let you know I'm not going to write your name down. That's what I can do for you. Like, if you help me, I'll help you. I won't write your name down, just as long as we get rid of 2 more people for the next 2 votes, and then we'll focus on getting some of my people out at a later date. And I'm like, that offer doesn't benefit me. I need my people just as much as you need your people. So I just let him think, okay, yeah, sure, I'm so thankful that you're not gonna write my name down. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, no, I see right through you, sir. Love you, but I see right through you. I have to do like I told Docs during Crossroads. My vote is based on what's going to get me farther in the game. Point blank, period. And that's that on that. Now, let me tell you guys, I petitioned for Kyle. I petitioned for Jared. Now it's between these two people, Daniel or Justin. Okay? The thing is, Daniel wants to go to Final 3 with me. However, I don't fully trust him. And secondly, Justin is just a wild card. He will do what is best for his game, and I don't blame him because I'm doing the same thing as him. So it's either gonna be one of these two, but we'll see what happens tomorrow on day 11. Until then, folks, your girl is done. Bye.
Tonight kicked my ass. I thought I was in complete control of the game, smooth sailing, feeling great. Didn't quite win the challenge, though I thought I did okay in it, but figured that doesn't matter. I have the numbers, I have my compass, we're all good. We get to the vote. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Justin. I think it might be Ryan because he has a compass. Still feeling good, no worries. Then Jared gets blindsided. Thank God it wasn't me. I mean, I was completely out of the vote. I didn't play my compass, which, hindsight is that that's crazy. So I'm pretty pissed. Right now, me, Maddie, and Rob were all left out of the vote. I already didn't really trust Rob. He told me again today he thinks I'm a threat. So as far as I see it, it's kind of me and Maddie against the world. We both have compasses, so I think we got to start creating some chaos, and if we're going to go down, we're going down swinging.
Oh my god, everything goes off as planned. I am so over the top right now, I can't even describe. Not only did my plan work out amazingly, but because of how the rest of the night went, it worked out even better than I could have hoped. So we start the night and we have our exemption challenge, and I lose, and I'm starting to think like, all right, do I go for this move or do I not? I have to basically make this choice while watching the second round take place that I didn't even make. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm doing it. I am going for this move. I am going to try and take as much control of this game as I can. So as soon as the challenge ends, we all get back in the campsite and we split up. And luckily, immediately, I end up in a room with the 3 original Ethans, and that is when I start my pitch. And I'm like, look, guys, I am ready to flip this game on its head. I am ready to work with you, and I am ready to take out one of the original Janets with you. They all seem very excited about it, so I tell them, if we vote as a 4, we can tie this vote, and if we are willing to go to a deadlock tie, I am willing to go to whatever the equivalent of rocks is in this game, and I am willing to work with the 3 of you and be at the top for once. We have all been on the bottom. These 4 have basically been controlling this game. Let's switch it around. So they agree, and we start throwing out names. Now, for me, like I already said, I wanted Jared out. He's the one to me that I think is the biggest threat to win, and I think is the biggest obstacle in my way. The one person I didn't want was Rob. He is the one person that I really want to go to the end with at this point. And of course, the first name they throw out is Rob, because they're like, Rob is the least likely to have any form of immunity or have it played on him. So I tell them, no, let's go for Jared, because I want to blindside them, and I want to take out any chance of an advantage that one of them has, and Jared is the most likely to have that. So they all agree. They're like, fine, Jared, that works. So we all split up, and I see Ryan go to a room with some of them, and next thing I talked to, I think it was Maddie and Daniel, and basically Maddie says to me, Ryan's telling me that you're throwing out Rob's name and my name, and I'm like, fuck, is Ryan trying to flip this on me? Is he basically trying to work with them and just take me out? So first I said to her, no way. And then I said it wouldn't make sense for me to go with them. What am I going to tie the vote? And she's like, yeah, no, I didn't think it was. So it ends up coming down to me and Ryan are the two names that everyone's throwing around. So now I'm worried that Ryan is going to just work with them. So I talked to Gideon, and I'm like, Gideon, I'm getting a little freaked out. I'm worried that Ryan is not going to go through with this plan. He's like, no, I think he might. So then I had to actually think it through, and I was like, all right, if Ryan wasn't going to go through with this plan, why wouldn't he just tell him the actual plan, which was Jared? He might be throwing me under the bus a little bit here, but at the same time, he hasn't exposed the whole plan. So to me, it's starting to make sense. Like, he might be willing to go with it while also setting himself up for the future of don't trust Justin. So I'm like, all right, this plan still could work. And I want to then make sure with him that he doesn't think it's smart for him to not go with this plan. So I told him in a way to make it say why I have to go through with this plan to vote Jared. It's the same thing as him. So I told Ryan, like, look, the two names that their side is throwing out is me and you. If we don't know which of us they're actually going for. If it's you, then you're getting 4 votes. If it's me, then I'm getting their 4 votes. If it ends up being me and I decide no, I don't want to do this Jared plan, and Ryan does stick to it, it'll end up being 4 for me, 3 for Jared, 1 for Ryan, which would be mine. So I would basically be screwing myself. I told him if he jumped away from this Jared plan, he would essentially be doing the same thing. He would vote himself out because he would take his 1 vote away from the guaranteed of us 4 sticking together. That in order to best give himself a chance to see tomorrow, he has to vote with me to take out Jared. I don't know if it actually swayed anything, but I definitely think at least it put in his head not voting with the Jared plan is putting himself at more risk. So I get back in a chat with Gideon, Chantel, and Ryan, and I say to them all, like, look, I'm going to push hard that I think my only option is Ryan. That I think it's between me and I think it's between Ryan. If it's not Ryan, then it's going to be me. So they're like, okay, yeah. So we end up going to Crossroads, and I throw Ryan under the bus, and I basically say, Ryan's been throwing my name out. I know it's between the two of us, and I don't blame Ryan, but obviously no one wants to hear their name. So everyone's thinking that I'm now going for this Hail Mary pass, where I have nothing left to lose because my only option is this pray that it's not me, that it's just Ryan, that I'm just hoping that someone else chooses to keep me. Little did they know, we had our own plan. We weren't doing the Hail Mary. We were handing it off. So while everyone's deep covering for the Hail Mary, we just run it right up the middle, and we score that way. So we end up pulling off the blind side. It actually goes better than planned because one of them voted for Ryan, so we never had to go to the tie. Our 4 ended up being the plurality. So that was great. We didn't have to worry about the tie. We ended up talking to the other 3 later, and they all said like we would have never went to a deadlock for Jared. They're not putting their game at a roulette wheel. The other great thing was because it ended up being put on me, regardless of why, not only did I take out Jared and make this huge move, it looks like I did it and saved myself. This plan of mine was from the beginning, I wanted to do this, but because I saved myself, it looks even better now. So my next move, I have to convince Chantel, Gideon, and Ryan, like, look, we just took the power from them. Do not be stupid. Do not flip and just take me out, because then it's 4 3-3 again with you guys. We just took the power from these 4 people who I really think had control of so much of this game. Don't give it back to them the very next vote. So my goal is we take out Maddie tonight. If we can take out Maddie, I might be able to convince Gideon that his best bet at winning this game is with me and Rob in the end. And if that's the case, I might be able to get to the end with Daniel and Rob, who at this point is who I think I want to sit with. I'm worried that original Ethans would vote for an Ethan to win if it's me and one of them. So I don't want to put that option on the table. I don't want one of the options for people to get to be vote for your original party lines. So it's ironic because Daniel has been the person I've been most worried about throughout this whole game. And I said from the beginning, I thought he was the person I wanted out first. And at this point, I'm looking to sit with him in the end. Crazy how this game just completely flips around at every single round. So I'm hoping that Maddie doesn't win exemption tonight and that I can convince these other 3 that she has to be our target. That she's the least likely to get any kind of compass played on her or advantage, and that hopefully it goes to her. So it's regardless of what happens, I am thrilled. I do know making this move has put a target on my back. I think I went from someone that everyone didn't take too seriously to realizing that I actually am playing this game. So I do think that now they're going to try to take me out eventually, even more so. But it's a move I had to make, and I am thrilled. This is the first time that I understand now why these are called parties, because I am having so much fun playing this game now, more than I have the whole rest of the time.
So I tried to record this last night, but I was a little too livid. So I'm gonna try to put these thoughts a little bit more succinctly today. I am upset with how the vote went last night. I know that I'm gonna be on the wrong side of votes. That's an obvious thing. This is the first time I have been. But it was really tough because Jared was such a good friend to me in this game and a person that I trusted completely. So that was what was a little difficult for me. What other parts of the difficult nature of last night were every single person in that 4-person group so easily lying directly to my face. And for Ryan to like make me feel so guilty for questioning him about his compass, like, I'm sorry, but like, and maybe, okay, well, Ryan doesn't watch the game. He's watched one season. He's always playing up this nice guy card of like, I don't know any strategy because I've never watched the game. And I've really believed him. And he still might not know. But last night when he said that he had a compass, and then we were like, where did you get it? And he couldn't give us a straight answer. To me, I was like, well, that's a game move. And Ryan's finally playing the game. He made that up so that we won't vote him out. That's not really like an outlandish or like crazy thought to think in this game. Like, people have done it, and I'm just a little surprised that he took it so personally that I did not believe him. And he also told me I was like the one person, me and Rob, the top 2 people that he trusted in this game. And we had never even had a conversation about our relationship in this game. So I didn't know he felt that way about me. I didn't know any of that. I ended up apologizing to him. I told him, I was like, yeah, I didn't believe you. But Also, it's not cool that Chantel like turned around and told him that. Like that made me really upset too. It made me upset because I thought that we were gaining trust, and then she did that to me. So last night was honestly just like a mess. I don't really trust anyone here except for Daniel and potentially Rob, but like seeing Rob and Chantel did this funny thing last night when we got back from Crossroads, talking about like how hard it is for them to lie. And like, honesty is gonna be the death of me. I'm just honest to a fault or something along those lines. Like, it was like, I've like seen both of you lie plenty of times. I don't like this whole charade. If you're gonna be like that, just like own it and go for it, because I can see right through it. And I was trying really hard to not like show how angry I was last night with the whole vote, just so that like today we can have conversations. And I understand this is just a game, and like I keep having to remind myself that this is just a game. But once you have like real life relationships involved, it does make it really, really personal. And like, it feels personal when it's not, but it feels that way. I don't know what to do about Justin. I'm kind of surprised that he did that. I'm kind of surprised he kind of like orchestrated that thing. That's a pretty good move. Yeah, and like Chantel was like, I really wanted to tell you, but I knew you wouldn't do it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have done it. So I guess it's good that you didn't tell me. I don't know. I'm just kind of like at a weird place now where like I thought I saw like a pretty good path towards the end, and now everything's looking really murky. I do still have a compass that I can use till the final 5, and Daniel has the same. So I guess it's on us tonight to figure out how to make the move that we need to make. I don't know. We got to get with Rob. Even though I don't trust Rob, I need Rob right now. He also knows about my compass. I'm just happy the votes didn't go towards my way last night, because I felt really comfortable, and clearly that was like a warning sign to me to like not feel comfortable in this game ever, not trust a single person in this game. So anyway, I'm just upset with how shady and how snake-like a lot of people on this party have become. But I guess that's what you got to do to get to the end. But they really need to start thinking about who's going to end up on the jury and how that is going to affect them, because Jared will not vote for any of them if they're there next to me or Daniel. So like, be careful, be very, very careful. Anyway, it's a new day, new potential in this game. I wanted to shake it up. I didn't want to coast to the end. This is really not coasting. I am not coasting at all anymore. Now it's like we really got to play this game. This is going to be bad. Oh, it's going to be so bad. But I know that I can act like some people need to do damage control with me, because they do if they want me as a number. So we'll see.
All right, so this was the first night that a vote happened that I was completely in the dark on, had no idea what was going on. Literally none. Let's start off first with the challenge. We go into the exemption challenge. We all know we're fighting for individual exemption. Dux does his silly little like, oh, is that something you want to compete for? And it's like, what am I going to do? Say like, you know what? No, I'm just going to sit this out. I'm confident enough. So we're out there, we're doing our thing, we're hitting ping pong balls at stacks of cups, and then stacking a whole bunch of cups if we make it to round 2. I get to round 2, surprisingly enough, even though I was against Justin, who I consider to be kind of a comp beast, and have to start stacking 6 solo cups. You can see them right there. One on top of another, alternating. So it's like upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up. 6 of them on top of a book that you're holding up. And I am like, I get to 5 cups like 25 times. Like I was pretty good at 5, but getting that final cup onto 6, downfall. Literally my downfall, and my cups all fell down. And then at some point, I'm just like, F it, please. Someone else win so I don't have to keep on trying to do this Sisyphean task of trying to stack up these cups on top of each other when my hand is shaking like tremors, and I am not cut out for this. Finally, Gideon wins, which is a little concerning at first because I'm like, oh, Gideon would have been an easy vote tonight. On the other hand, I'm like, thank God someone finally won so I could stop this challenge and relax. We get back to our shelter afterwards, and we start having our little breakout sessions. I get into a room with Daniel and kind of reiterate, hey, listen, like I'm still tight with you and Maddie. Like I see us as final 3 end game here. But I will say, like, there is a little bit of a target on your back specifically, and I'm thinking objectively, you've done like a play, like a pretty big play too, with the safety without power for Jared before, that no one else really has at this point, especially since we got rid of Kyle, who had the other 2 big compass plays, and Gideon's too, but that's besides the point. So then we go and he and I decide, all right, let's think about who we want to get out. And we're thinking, let's get Ryan out, because I don't trust Ryan. And I don't see him being much help for my game, to be completely honest. And we're like, all right, that sounds good. Let's go start talking to the rest of our alliance, which is, me, Daniel, Maddie, Justin, Jared. Solid 5. Solid 5. We just need to make sure we secure all these votes and keep them secure. Here's the kicker. Maddie is super, super, super tight with Chantal. And by super tight, I mean she has, in the past, deflected votes away from Chantal in order to make it so that she's not the final woman or the only woman standing. And I think she tried to make a all-girl, or by all-girl, I mean her and Chantal alliance, to get to final 2. Which is wild, because if Chantal gets to final 2, she's got a pretty impressive resume of being in a minority alliance and making it all the way over to the finals, despite kind of every obstacle being in her path. So we're thinking, all right, this is going to be a tough one. Maddie's going to tell Chantal, and we're going to have to hope this all works out well. So then I get into a room with Maddie and Jared. I tell them what I'm thinking, and then someone brings up the possibility of Ryan having a compass. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. He doesn't have a compass. It's just like not realistic. And then they're like, well, if he does, like, you can't say to someone like, that's stupid. You could say like, oh, like, I'm not sure if he does, whatever. But instead, I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure he does. But if we need to, we could do votes on Justin as a split. Thinking, you know what, Justin is a threat still in this game. He's got some exemption wins under his belt, both when we were in a rendezvous tribe and also back from when we were in our individual tribes and he was swap screwed to the new Team Janet, which had a majority Team Ethan composition. So that's a pretty big thing for his resume already. And we're thinking, all right, this will be easy peasy. We just get all the votes on Ryan, and we have like 1 or 2 votes on Justin to prevent any potential compass coming into play and fucking things up. We then start going into our own little things. I get into another room with Ryan, who now tells me he has a compass. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do my best to tell him that we're all voting Justin tonight and that he doesn't need to worry about a thing. Which he believes, because it's not the full truth, but it's part of the truth. And I figure that's that. I don't need to have my one-on-ones with Ryan again for the rest of the night and for the rest of the game. Not the case. Then I go into a room with Maddie, Chantal, and Ryan, I believe, there were so many room shifts happening of like, oh, I need to grab you, and I'm going to go, we're going by the rocks. We're going to the fire. Let's go swim in the river. Like, just, it was exhausting to try and keep track of. I like talked to Gideon at one point, who I don't really care to talk to. Gideon's a great guy. He's fine, and he's got a cool life. He's living in New York now. That's cool. But he's not playing the game with me. You know, we're in the same game, but I can tell he's playing it against me. And I'm gonna have a laugh if it turns out that he's actually been thinking I'm on his side all this time, because there's nothing tells him that, and that would be wild. That was irrelevant. Anyway, I end up in the shelter, and Ryan comments in the rendezvous chat, Maddie and Rob, can you meet me over here up in the trees? So we go and we meet with him, and he decides to tell us that apparently someone is telling him that I and Maddie don't believe Ryan and are actively campaigning to get him out. And at this point, Maddie and I are just like, what the fuck? And I had never said that I didn't believe his compass. Ever. Not to Ryan, not to Maddie, not to any other person in the world. I guess Maddie said that she didn't believe it, but as far as Maddie's aware, I didn't even know that Ryan had a compass. And so I am like, well, I didn't, my belief in you is only shaken with the matter of my vote, at our vote where it was like a 6-5 split, and I was, the second one who almost left. And he again soars up and down that it wasn't him, he didn't do it. And I'm just like, all right, like I'm choosing to believe you again. Like, I know that the information and the data is saying it's on you, and I'm choosing to believe that you did not write my name. And you're going to see tonight, if you play your compass, where my vote is. And he's like, oh, he says some stuff about like, I had thought of you guys, like all very past tense, like I thought of you guys as my closest allies. I was going to use this on one of you if you felt like you were in danger. Meanwhile, Maddie has a compass, so I'm like, she doesn't need your charity. And then Maddie and I go into a room to debrief, and she tells me that the only person she had told about that lack of belief is Chantel. So now we know that Chantel is a funnel, or a tunnel, I guess, that goes right back to Ryan. So we have to be extra careful now about anything we tell her. And Maddie kind of lets her cards show a little bit, where she says how she'd been really working closely with Chantel and talking about going all girls to the end. And I'm like, where am I? Like, I'm not a girl. So clearly I was not a factor in this decision. Am I just someone who's going to get dragged to the end? Which I'm fine with. I don't care. As long as I have a chance to make my case to the jury, that's great. But it's making me wonder, like, Maddie, how close were you and I ever? Besides being part of the same swap tribe. Anyway, she was super frustrated with Chantel. I would be frustrated too. I was a little frustrated, but it's a game. She's doing what's best for her game. And the fact that that doesn't align with what's best for your game is kind of what makes this show and this game so great. I am then, like, going a little crazy, go back into the shelter. I have a small chat with Daniel where we decide, hey, you know what? This compass is a real threat. Let's vote Justin out. So it gets to crossroads, and I'm there with my Justin vote, and I give my sorry little goodbye message of, I don't really want to be writing your name down, but the compass threat is really real. And I'm also realizing this is going to look really well to Ryan if he does play his compass, stays in. In fact, it's going to look even better because now the majority are voting for not Ryan to go home. Then the votes are read. 3 votes are on Justin. 1 vote is on Ryan. 4 votes are on Jared, and Jared goes home. We didn't have a compass play tonight. So now I'm wondering, crap, did I just burn my game and my relationship with Justin in order to preserve one with Ryan. And if we had just stuck to the plan of voting Ryan out, we would still have Justin with us. We would still have Jared with us. We would still have Daniel and Maddie with us. That would have been a solid 5, including myself. Instead, now we know that Justin has flipped to join Chantel and to join Gideon and Ryan. So Chantel, Gideon, Ryan, and Justin, solid 4 against the 3-person now minority alliance of myself, Daniel, and Maddie. I went from being sitting pretty in this game, under the radar, not having done a whole lot, to now being part of the minority alliance that is very much in danger of getting attacked and targeted next. I need to win the next exemption challenge, otherwise I could easily be going home, and that would be it for my game. So if I had to do like a power rankings, it would be Daniel, Maddie, and I'm trying to think of the rest. Probably Ryan, who maybe I'm able to salvage some trust with after the fact that I didn't vote him tonight. Chantal, who said that she liked me and that she would, in a little joking way, she was like, I'd forgive you for anything. Justin, I'd say on the same level, because I don't think it's not a matter of me trusting them or as it is, do they trust me? Especially since I wrote Justin's name down. Sorry for that, by the way. And then Gideon at the end. So, it's all been quite a bit. I'm stoked that I'm alive. I'm stoked I'm still in the final 7, which is crazy. But it's making me realize, like, this entire game, none of us are driving successive votes. There's no one who's driving 3 votes in a row. This is literally people scrambling and limping from vote to vote, grateful to still be alive and to still have a shot at making their case. I hope that we keep on keeping on, and just that I'm able to somehow rebuild the trust that I had originally had with Justin, and potentially try and make it so that I can get it to the end, still with Daniel and Maddie, who I think are going to be the closest thing I have to real, I don't want to say competition, but the closest people that I would be able to win against. I think right now I have been painting myself as playing a very GOAT-like game, which is fine. I'm okay painting that. But it's worrisome now that I am in the minority. I need to just get to the end. That's it. Wish me luck.